many fans you are in this shit.
Hello and welcome back to coverage of the PDGA Euro Tour. We are here at stop number 5, the Skelleftea Open 2023 at Disc Golf Terminalen. It's a beautiful day here in round 2. The sun is shining, we have mild winds, and we are excited to be bringing you round 2 front 9 FPO lead card coverage brought to you by MDG Media. You see here getting us started, your leader of the day, Silva Saarinen, coming off a win from Krokol Open just recently. She's playing a really solid, well put together game, and she's really putting together many great rounds in a row. Excited to have her here today. Joining her, a player from the Czech Republic, Nikola Moravcová, 899 rated. We have seen her earlier this season on coverage and has gained some familiarity and comfort with the cameras. I think that she'll also be well positioned. She had a strong round 1, making her way here. And joining them, Jenni Karppinen, really solid player, has shown to have an all-around game that is having her well equipped, especially in the woods. I find is when she really seems to be most comfortable. Sponsored by Prodigy Disc. And another Prodigy player here, former commentator and current commentator on MDG Media, Rachel Turton, also already a winner this season, won the Konopiste Open not too long ago, and she's another player who has all of the tools required to take down a tournament. The backhand, the forehand, the putt, a great lead card. We get our round 2 started here on hole number 1. A par 5 at 219 meters. You have a fairly narrow fairway with trees lining the left and the right, as well as OB looming early to the left, all along the left side, and late to the right. You see you want a drive that pierces through that tree line, settles in the middle, providing you a second shot, hopefully battling up this more straight tunnel. As you then push this OB road to the right here, you see the basket tucked away once again back on the left. A tricky hole, but definitely, if you can keep your disc safe in the fairway, attackable. Silva, our leader, to get us started. And boom, just like that, Silva Saarinen. Really nice, slow turning disc, quite an overstable finish. Got that out flat and healthy amount of turn and fade.
Up next from the Czech Republic, sponsored by Team Wingman, Nikola Moravcová.
We see Nikola here. On the tee, you see her trying to play a touch more under stability, hanging it out the left side with a soft hyzer release, trying to get the full long turn, but getting caught in some of those early branches.
From Finland, sponsored by Prodigy, Jenni Karppinen.
Jenni, another player who's been a frequent visitor here on MDG Media. A lot of experience on feature and lead cards. As we see her get a low driven shot, and she turns around before it even hits the floor. She knows it's good. Very solid, nice safe shot with healthy distance. Smooth drive from Jenni.
Up next from the United Kingdom, sponsored by Prodigy, Rachel Turton.
Rachel has very solid distance and is very competitive in distance with the FPO field. We'll see if she chooses to get aggressive here. Quite a hyzer release, flipping it up to flat, not quite getting a full distance line. She'll be caught up on that left side, perhaps slightly pinched, as we see what she's left with now. And yeah, she chooses to try and go through those trees, taking the shortcut, but took the risk and does not find the reward there. Nikola also coming out the early left side, still battling out of the tree line, and that looks to be back into the fairway. Jenni opting for the standstill here. Still some considerable distance, but you can see her shaping this shot beautifully. A straight line right down the fairway, wide open, perfectly flattening out at the end and pushing forwards. She may even be having a eagle chance to try and wrap around that corner. Really smooth shot from Jenni. Silva here also very low, solid amount of turn, and a nice driven shot. Not quite as far as Jenni's, but still in a fine spot, attacking for birdie. This is Rachel's third now. She's also in that common landing zone, looking to battle around the final corner. Nikola here, you saw that she fired quite straight out of the woods as she now pitches back into the fairway, simply playing for par at this point. See if she has the right width here. Oh yeah, she does. Just barely sneaking back in. Really nice shot to put herself up there and putting. And in fact, it is the right side of the road that is the OB line, not the left side that is hugging the green. So there you go. That, for example, very fine play. Rachel also going out very wide, playing the skip on the hard surface, and she finds it something reliably overstable, very softly thrown. Oh, and Rachel's gone glasses on. That's when she means business. She doesn't throw them, but that's how you know she's serious. Oh, nice bid there from quite far away. Silva, one of the strongest putters in the game, securing her early birdie, coming in as the leader and not letting this very attackable hole get away from her. Nikola now. This is Rachel for par. Oh, and a little bit timid, but putting it in that first putt of a round can be a tricky one, depending on how much you've warmed up, what your mentality is like. And we see Jenni there, even giving it a chance for eagle, leaving it just shy, and then tapping in for birdie. I think an ideal stress-free start. Everyone loves a good birdie. We move on to hole 2. A 94-meter par 3 with an early double mando hitting the gap. Incredibly important, otherwise you're left just before it at the drop zone. The fairway then softly bends to the left. You could see when the drone was flying it was quite swampy. The sun has come out a little bit, but still very much a wet ground. And as you see here, a slightly sloped green to the left with some mulch, and everything that goes too deep or too far left will find OB. So it's much more about hitting the gap for these right-handed players with a backhand and then letting the disc do the work to the left. And we see Silva do just that. She actually pushed quite straight, I think, fading not as early as she would have liked, but able to break through that early tree line after the mando, and very smooth shot. She is right up there in the circle putting. Jenni now also taking the birdie on hole 1. Looking to continue this strong start. Very smooth. You saw her fade much earlier than Silva's, and as a result, staying clean through the gap. She is just outside the bullseye. Really nice shot. Exactly how you want to do it. Nikola now has been shown 2 very nice lines. She too has shaped this beautifully, getting it just up to flat and then hyzering out. She is even closer. Really smooth shot from Nikola. Absolutely parked. This is not a huge double mando here, so really impressive 3 shots, and we see Rachel there coming out with a slightly early release, not making the Mando. She'll be left for the drop zone. And she's now playing for bogey at best. Unless she could do something miraculous. We'll see Rachel here trying to get it as close as possible. Playing low to the ground and solid slide up. She is right up there in the circle. Silva here to go 2-4-2 in the first 2 holes of round 2. Amazing. Making it look easy. Silva Saarinen in circle 1. Always a pleasure to watch. And Rachel here. Much more confident stroke than in hole 1. Good to see the slight correction. Obviously, the tee shot missing the Mando will give her that penalty stroke. Unfortunately, she's taking a bogey here, but nice to see the adjustment on the putt. As we'll see some short birdie putts now there for Jenni and Nikola, who's absolutely parked CTP. She shakes it off. We move on. Hole 3. A par 5 at 231 meters. Very wooded. You have this initial gap to hit as the fairway continues straight. You have OB to the left side the entire way, needing to keep your disc in the fairway. You then see this slight bend and narrowing of the fairway. As we sneak through here, the OB narrows to a pinch point right at this bridge. As we then hop over, you then have multiple guardian trees to beat, as well as a late gap giving you entrance to the green, and of course some more guardian trees. This one requiring good precision. It's not too long for a par 5, so you can very much just keep it in the middle, but excited to see how much these players choose to bite off. Silva throwing this shot, coming out with a ton of speed, and she has crushed this one right down the middle. Very smooth. I think she is totally happy with that. May have slightly uneven footing with the tumultuous fairway, but nothing you can do about that. That was a great drive. And Jenni as well, shaping one beautifully. The soft turnover into late fade. Both Silva and Jenni so far perfect. Getting the first 2 holes. Both birdie. Nikola there with a slightly overturned shot and a little bit low. Catches the right side trees and kicks. She won't have too much distance, but still a fine position. Nice and safe. Rachel here loves to rely on her D1s off the tee. And as she gets that one slightly overturned as well, she will kick into this rough, but right at the edge of the open. I think a simple position shot now to get her back into a nice safe position, center fairway. And she does just that, moving towards the narrowing of the fairway, but coming up short to mitigate that risk. Nikola sending it a little bit high through that low gap. He's still going to have a long distance to the green, I think. Very difficult to attack in one. We see Jenni here going for it. Relying on that power stand, still a low driven shot right off the roots of the trees. Very nice. And Silva in a prime position. She positions herself right at the mouth, in fact a little bit to the side of that late gap into the green. That will be a tricky shot, but I think she will be able to lean on the forehand if she chooses to do so. Straddle out from there. And Nikola going really hyzer release. I assume it's something quite understable, but that one hyzers out too early, and she will also be really pinched to the green and is very thick on that left side. Rachel here did just pitch up to that position, allowing her this power hyzer. She now wants to put this as close as possible. This is her 4th shot, so she's once again playing for par here. And a smooth straight line, I believe, with the Strider mid-range that she also really likes to lean on, and very nice. Good recovery. Jenni with an aggressive shot, but also hitting one of those small trees behind as the backstop. Silva is choosing to throw this backhand here. She doesn't throw a huge amount of forehand, but there you see the dangers of that backhand playing to the left side with the big wide straddle. She gets caught up and leaves herself with a lot of distance left. Nikola also so pinched, she just has to pitch out back into the middle, and then a jump putt approach. I think good on her to recognize that there really was not much she could do after that shot and needed to get out with minimal damage. Silva there, unfortunate that she had that slightly errant approach, as that was her fourth throw. She'll be putting for par. We have Jenni up first. Going 3-4-3, incredible start for these two Finnish players on our lead card. Silva here for par. Very casual putt, very effortless. Definitely has the confidence of someone who knows they're going to put that in. Not stressing about it. Nikola also finding troubles trying to access the green. Does take the bogey. And Rachel securing the par. Both Nikola and Rachel not hitting it pure off the tee, and you saw what difference that made later down in the hole. All right, we continue here on hole number 4, a 225-meter par 5. You see this fairway push forwards and then slope softly downhill and to the right, where you have this OB water, both the pond on the left as well as the river to the right. The fairway then slopes back uphill, divided in half by these skinny trees in the middle. You need to pick which side you want to approach, try to get to this small mouth here, allowing you entrance to this tucked away green. Beautiful mulch, circle 1. Another hole where you want to keep it in the fairway, avoid the penalty strokes. Jenni up first. Really nice getting that nose down. She slides her way up to a prime position to try and cross the water on her second shot. Jenni just cannot throw a bad shot right now. Really nice to watch. Silva there with a late release, but look at that thing fly. Got considerable distance, and she may, if she's lucky, have a chance to try and cross the water on her second, but definitely won't be easy. Rachel here also opting for that soft turning flight, and she pushes the distance even a little bit more than Jenni onto the flat. Nikola here. We'll see if she can bounce back strong after a bogey on hole 3. Especially early in the round, it's good to see a player's composure with some early troubles. But you see a nice shot there. Definitely close to that right side, but no worries as the fairway is bending to the right. She got more room available to her as her disc flew, and she's in a great spot. Silva is choosing to get aggressive from this unideal position, and you see her push her Anheuser release a little bit too straight, but over the water and inbounds. Nikola with a high turning shot, but it is going to find some fade, and a fortunate kick back to the middle off the tree. You see just how difficult those gaps are late up the fairway. Rachel here with a great drive. You see her push this power forehand up there, battling one of those last trees, dividing the fairway in two. But no worries. As we see Silva actually in a great spot considering how much of those left side trees she caught. Could very well be in the tree line, but out in the open now. Although on this upslope, she needs to be comfortable here in this standstill. She wants this to push pretty far forwards and to the right before fading. And that'll play. She's found that left side entrance to the green, and that should be no problem for her upshot. Jenni really finding some troubles with the trees there. Had a great tee shot, but after that has been struggling to make significant progress up the fairway. And Rachel with another nice forehand shot. Heiser the whole way, catching the mulch and settling. Nikola playing the Heiser approach, and she also skips over the wall and into the island. Very nice. They will both be left with a decent putt. Jenni continues to find troubles on her way there, playing the Heiser route. It's a pretty friendly gap, but came out a little bit early or with a touch too much Heiser. Silva just pitching up to the green there, even giving it a soft bid almost. This is Jenni. Has made her way to the green and is now putting. Silva in for par. Pretty fine result considering the tee shot going early to the right. The woods can be very unforgiving, but she got herself back into the fairway up to the green. No damage done. Nikola here. Really nice, securing the birdie, and there's that bounce back after the bogey on hole 3. Very strong, and not one of the easiest holes, attackable, but still requiring a good touch. Rachel now. Also securing the birdie, going backhand, forehand, forehand, really smooth, and then making the putt. Very nicely done. Jenni finding a bogey after a super hot start, going 3 for 3. Will take a little bit of red on the scorecard, but I'm sure still very well positioned for a good round. Our players walk to hole 5. A 104-meter par 3. You have this early, tumultuous fairway, sloping ever so softly right to left. You want a disc that breaks out into this open field and flies straight and softly to the left. Just behind the basket, you see an OB pond, so a lot of players will err to the right side or come up a little bit short, as anything that flares or flies too far straight or long will find trouble. Rachel powering this one up there, comes out a little bit early left, and she plays very close to that OB line, although looks to have kept it safe. Nikola here getting a lot more turn. Looks like she really put a lot on that, and as a result turns it over, but sits down nicely right in the middle. Should be a simple upshot from there. Silva here, the only one so far in this round who is bogey free, but very high on the drive and also very turned, kicking back to the fairway as well, likely just playing for par now. We'll see if Jenni can hit this line. So far unfound by this lead card. Just on the left side, but fortunately fighting through out into the open. That is a totally fine and safe spot to be. Only Rachel really playing with that left side OB, but still totally fine. We'll see Nikola up first. Smooth upshot, just taking the 3 now. Good to control the pace there. Very low from Silva there. We also see a great touch Jenni so far up that she can just jump putt. And even she slides a little bit long there. All of our players pitching up on their second, likely taking the 3 here, a par frame for our lead card. Rachel up first. And as she gets us started, I think similar results for the rest of them. This hole is really not one where you want to push that OB. Left and long is very dangerous, as well as the tricky gaps late in the fairway, requiring a very specific shape. A soft flex or a long fighting hyzer flip can be quite touchy, and as a result, nobody getting too close off the drive, but making sure to get close on their approach for a stress-free 3. Hole 6, an 85-meter par 3 with this early high floor and gap between these trees. You want to fly, as the drone does, out into this open field where you see this basket tucked away slightly to the left, although a straight piercing shot will often do the trick. At 85 meters, this par 3 is one that everyone wants to attack. It's about controlling the speed and the fade to ensure you come into the woods at the right time. Rachel getting us started here, turning one over through the gap. She'll be just fine with a long look to the green, even potentially a putt maybe with that low ceiling if the tree branches are in her way. Nikola now. Playing a lot more under stability, I think even hitting the unintended gap, but fighting through no worries. Playing slightly uphill. It is a bit more than 85, but the shape definitely lends itself to potentially a slightly lower speed disc. Although fairway plays really nicely here. Silva with a low driven shot and just catching one of those last trees. She is just outside the bullseye. That is a great line. Not much risk of ever doing anything other than going right to the green. Jenni also leaning on that flex shot and hyzer release, but because of that early high floor, you have to release nose up, which makes it difficult to get the right amount of anhyzer and turn. Nikola with the long bid will be looking at a short putt for 3 once again. Rachel with a long look for 2. Maybe just a layup there, ensuring from that long distance that no damage is done. This is Jenni. Has been known to make some long putts and gives it a bit there, but just out the left side. Yeah, you can see that she wanted a bit of anhyzer on that, keeping it aloft. And Silva walking up and cashing the very casual birdie. Clean scorecard so far. 3 birdies, 3 pars on hole 6 for Silva Saarinen. We'll see a series of par putts now. We move on to hole 7, a 159-meter par 4. You have this early tunnel to contend with. You want something that breaks out as far as possible straight. As the fairway then takes an almost 90-degree turn to the right, you have this mouth that you want to set up your first shot with so that on the second you can fire through this gap and hopefully up towards this green. There is a Mando tree on the right side, preventing any shortcuts going through the trees, so it keeps you honest. You want to just throw a straight shot and then try and fire through to the green. There's also a hazard pond right behind the basket, an additional element to contend with. Silva playing that safe hyzer, but actually fading out too much, not safe at all. She does find OB. If you go too far left of that corner, you saw just how quickly it comes into play. She had a lot of height on her release. The closer you do push that OB line, the more it opens up your entrance to the second gap, but we see here Nikola opting for a forehand to try and ensure fading right at the end, but does not make it out of the initial tunnel. That will leave her with a lot remaining just to get to the mouth. And Jenni now had the scorching hot start, has cooled down a little bit, but still a fantastic round and a fantastic drive. Best of the bunch. She is well positioned, pushing that OB line but keeping it in bounds. Nikola with another situation. You see how small the gaps are. She does opt to just go back into the fairway. Playing that forehand. Oh, a nice line, but brutal roll away off the back. Still in an alright spot to pierce through, but I'm sure she would have liked to have as little distance up to the basket remaining as possible. Silva too short, needing to shape this anhyzer, and she does. Look at the long flight there. She battles her way up towards the circle. That is a tough shot that she's executed pretty well, all things considered. Rachel here is going to try and play the forehand. I think hoping for some ground play to try and move right as quickly as possible. And she gets a few skips in the direction of the basket. Jenni here, trying to shape the anhyzer backhand with what I believe was the putter. She turns it over a little bit much, I think, potentially due to the nose down angle. Nikola there. A nice smooth forehand. That is her fourth shot, so she will be playing for bogey, but the early pitch out from the woods, again, I think necessary in a lot of the spots on this course. You can see how small the gaps are on camera. They feel even smaller in person. And Jenni there with a simple putt approach. This is Silva for birdie. Oh, and she finds metal, but no chains. A nice bit. This is a tough birdie to get. And Rachel there with a bit of a misfire from within the circle. Nikola securing that bogey after pitching out. Best case result. She did a good job after the first shot. Silva there actually finding herself on hole 7 with a bogey. She went OB to the left side off the tee. And then takes the penalty stroke as she battles back around the corner. The first bogey of Silva Saarinen's round. Hole 8, a 190-meter par 4. This fairway is long and straight. As you weave your way around these trees and through these woods, you want to push as far up as possible while avoiding the early OB to the left side. As you enter this tree line and progress up the fairway, you'll see it bend softly to the right, where the basket is hidden behind some late trees. This corner really important in requiring a specific shape, the distance that you are from the bend determining how much anhyzer you need on your backhand, or if you choose the forehand approach, it can be very touchy, and a good drive does really help if you want to try and attack for birdie. Jenni there incredibly straight but quite low. Silva firing this one higher, but catching the branches. Also is not getting as much distance as she would like. I think similar to Jenni. We'll see Rachel push this here now, but just dancing with those trees as well. She does not find her full flight. We'll see if Nikola can come out clean. She likes the Anheuser angle. She likes to use the understability in discs, and she's played that out wider, and very fine, no worries. Good position from there. So we see Jenni up first. Overturn. She's trying to make her way around this bend to the right, but you really have to time it perfectly. We see Rachel relying on the power hyzer forehand, which she's shown to be comfortable with, and that's a nice shot up the fairway. Really good spot, and bit off a lot of distance with that driver. Silva here has a great command of the Anheuser backhand, but fading out a touch early, catches some trees to keep her a little bit closer. Yeah, another element of playing on this course is that very difficult to practice from the same spot, because often drives will end up with slightly different gaps, slightly different ideal throws and discs, and it really tests the versatility and creativity of the players, giving them new situations every round. Jenni just pitching out to the corner. Silva here scrambling, trying to get her way to the green, and she'll be putting about 7 or 8 meters, but she's made her way up there now. As we see Rachel's upshot make her way to the mulch as well. Jenni from really deep. She's going to be putting this. Nikola also has been shown to enjoy running these longer putts, and just like that, over the top, giving it a clean bid. Silva, unfortunately, although she was not too far away, had absolutely no look from behind the tree, just needing to get around that, give herself a putt. Nikola puts that one in, taking the 5 here, once again pitching out and playing smart, ensuring that she doesn't get into too much trouble. So we see a bogey from Silva as well as a par from Rachel. And Jenni also carding the 5. Rachel runs away with a stroke there here on hole 8. We look to close out this front 9 here on hole 9. A 229 meter par 4. You have OB right as well as a Mando tree, forcing you to the right side. Players will want to keep their discs straight down the tunnel and then bend softly to the left. As this fairway turns, you see a more generous fairway, but with a small late gap. A lot of players will battle this final gap here. You can choose to try and attack through it from quite deep in the fairway, but a lot of players will choose to just pitch up and then have a long look, try to avoid too much trouble here on hole 9. Rachel getting caught up on the left side. Had a lot of speed out of the hand, but not a perfect precision. Jenni here playing more into the opening. She's fired that one down there. Silva, another player with great distance, as we saw her actually throw something a little bit understable there. Hyzer release on the left side. Did not get it to turn soon enough into the opening. And Nikola here going for a similar line, not quite beating all those trees. Silva with a very awkward stance, going off the knee. A low Anheuser release with what was likely a stable disc. She, I'm sure, got as much distance as she could, all things considered. Rachel here is going to try to blast the power backhand. And really smooth. She hit that gap nicely, getting a full flight and skip into the fairway. Nicely done. Nikola leaning on that forehand. She has shown to be very comfortable with the forehand on the hyzer and Anheuser angles. Silva here from really deep, pushing that and catching a little bit of the ceiling. Will fade out early. Very aggressive line from her there. Jenni still with the corner to battle around. Gives the power hyzer and also very well positioned right out in the open. Playing to the fairway and to the course design. Nikola here is going for this, trying to hit the gap. She flips it up to flat and fades a touch early, but left side is no problem here. The danger is really only right and long of the basket. Rachel here ensuring to get some turn out of that disc before the rightwards finish, and a beautiful shot straight through the gap, relying on the ground play. Really nicely done. Jenni also keeping that one low. We see the winds increasing right now as the trees sway a little bit. These discs are getting a bit more beat up than earlier in the day. Nikola with what looks like a bid from the trees. A nice half bid there. Jenni with a full bid, but also just a little bit short near the cage. Silva with a smooth putt, saving bogey there. Unfortunate ending of this front nine, going 3 bogeys on 7, 8, and 9, but securing 3 birdies early in the round. She is still sitting it even for the day so far. Jenni also finding some troubles. Rachel with a nice par save there. Great upshot to give it stress-free. And Nikola too with the bogey. As Silva, Jenni, and Nikola take the 5. Rachel with the 4. See here the overall standings. Silva still maintaining her lead with a round of even so far, and Jenni right behind her in second place. We see tied in third Ella Hansen, competitor from the USA, coming over here to compete in Europe, tied with Nikola in third place, with Rachel sliding to 5th. An exciting battle as round 2 begins to heat up. Make sure to catch us on the back 9. Thank you for joining us here today. Hope you enjoyed. And do all that good YouTube stuff to support us. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you there.